Welcome to our next session with the subject, the development of logistics and industry in Serbia and the region. My name is Alexander Leko. I'm an architect, and I would like to thank our hosts, Mr. Samoning and Mr. Psenica, for the kind invitation to moderate this session and to take part in the whole program. The guests of this session are Mr. Sebastian Grudman from the SE Business Solutions, an industry developer, a man who brought and developed the Falke production field in Leskovac. Mr. Nebojša Dragičević from IGB Automotive, general manager, founder of the company, part of Powerhin Group, and our host, Mr. Alexander Samoning, now this time representing the Small Steps company. Welcome. I would ask you at the beginning, it would be nice if we can, going through the subjects, combine your, share your thoughts and ideas all together. Starting this session with this magnificent view here. Looking at that and the gorgeous weather, if a foreign investor would come to Belgrade and have immediately such a view and such weather, my first question would be almost obsolete, but it's not always like that. The question is, why Serbia? Why did you come here? What is it that it makes it makes your investment worth? Who would like to start? Mr. Gromlin.
Thank you. So, why Serbia? There's, at the moment, for me, a very simple reason. So, if you think about relocating your production from Germany or from Austria abroad, there is different possibilities. You can go to Asia. They have long logistic ways. You have the problem that a lot of companies start copying your products. You have often quality problems over there which just pop up if the goods arrive in Germany. So it means the efforts for quality insurance in Asia is expensive, is a lot of work, and you are never sure that the products are really in the quality delivered you would like to get. The next possibility is going to North Africa, which showed us in the last years that it is difficult and that there is a high risk that you will lose your production and your capacities. So also this is not the best way. So why not go to Serbia? It's close to Germany. It's close to Austria. You have short logistic ways. You have.
Excuse me for a brief interruption, but you just said that in Africa you lose your production.
Yeah, I mean, just with the troubles in the last years, you have big possibilities with the crisis in North Africa that you're not able to continue your production, that you lose your workforce because of all these troubles around, and it's also logistic problems with customs to deliver the goods back to Germany. So back to Serbia. Here we have a good qualified workforce. We have good support from the state. We are close to Germany, and we have, in general, a good environment to set up a production. This is, for me, one of the main reasons why to go to Serbia.
Thank you. Mr. Dragičević, would you like to overtake?
Well, I could just mention our reasons for coming to Serbia. I wouldn't like to repeat all the reasons which Mr. Grudman already said, but just to be honest with the discussion here, one of the main reasons why we came in Serbia is cheap labor and production costs that we reduced by coming to Serbia. Of course, that's not the main reason for coming to Serbia, and a lot of other things affect future investments, but also one of the most important reasons. as far as I'm concerned, I could just say that Bauerhin is a German company operating in Germany for more than 3 decades. Main product is a seat heater, which we sell to the main automotive companies. We produce seat heaters here in Serbia for Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, Porsche Gruppe, and others. And we reached our plans in only 2 years by setting the quality system ISO 16949, which is made precisely for automotive industry. We managed to hire 300 people in only 2 years of our production in India. And of course, productivity, which we reached, planned productivity of 100%, which we reached in first year. After that, management in Germany decided to enlarge their plans, and they set new goals to our company, to our plant here in Serbia. So right now we are employing around 1,000 people. We are organized as a daughter company here in Serbia. So that means that we are getting all the wrapper materials from Germany. We are making seat heaters here, and we are selling those to mother company. Nearby seat heaters, we also have a few more products that we got here in Serbia. So it's a business which is going in the future better and better.
Good. Thank you. A question: cheap labor, a reason for coming. One of the reasons you have mentioned. How far is that labor also capable for a good work and not just being cheap?
Okay. First of all, I would like once again to mention that that's not the most important reason. Right now in the world you have countries where your investment can hire much more cheaper labor, but other components of that environment are also important. Working force in Serbia, I'm Serb. I finished private university, which some of people find not appropriate for the business that I'm dealing with. But let's say that people are skilled in Serbia. Generally, in the municipality where we operate, and that is India, there's a certain entrepreneurial history, and people are really, let's say, used on the working in the systems where entrepreneurship brings important values to the business. There were also some big systems in municipality and around it, and I can say that a lot of people working in India, I'm speaking about India right now, are really common with the work in large systems. So it also brings additional value to the future workers. There are certain levels, of course, in companies where we can speak about skilled and trained people in management and people who are dealing with only operations in low level of management. There are some problems with more educated and skilled people in Serbia. First of all, the first problem for us is the German language. Working in a German company, it's not necessary, but it's really a additional value when future workers speak German because of the communication, and it's quite understandable. as a second problem, I also find, for example, English language. Right now, I would like not to speak generally about the environment. I would like to speak with you on this panel about the real problems that we face in our business. So let's face the truth.
Excuse me now for interrupting, but
Yeah.
that would be one of the few next questions. So if you don't mind, I would just
Of
like
course.
now to let Mr. Samoning, as our host that I have left as the last one, to tell us what are Small Steps doing and why Serbia, and why is he actually here in the last 11 years with many of his companies.
Thank you. I thank Nebojša. I invited him some minutes ago that he comes with us to München at 23rd and 24th of September, because this is the answer of the question from behind in the last panel. We need people with showing we have 1,000 employees, the factory is working properly, the manager is speaking, general manager is speaking German, yeah, and things are developing further. Yeah, that's the best ambassador. I don't need any politician, I don't need anyone. Yeah? I need him. I hope he finds time, because there will be hundreds and hundreds of German investors which are thinking about doing something. Yeah? And I need him because he can present this, what we are really talking about. Short to my project, where I now major shareholder. It was not planned, but I financed this a long time. You see a little bit. This is our mill. Yeah, it's in Feketić. It's in between Novi Sad and Subotica. And why we are there? It's a project which have together 70 hectares. Now realistic in the first phase, 14 hectares. We bought this land to make a fast money. This was not a good idea, because there is no fast money in development of industrial zones, but in good times it was a little bit different. I'm very proud. You see here the mill. Then we built also, it's not our mill, investor built it. This is a cookie factory, and now we sold a third parcel of land to a producer of premix. Because we are agro cluster Feketić, yeah? We do only agro cluster. And last week an investor was calling and saying, yes, he would like to do steel and would be with us because he trusts us. And I said, no, you cannot be with us, but I will bring it to you to Lafarge Business Park, because you need a barge, and I will connect you, I will help you. Don't get it wrong, I would like to sell my land, but I sell it around agro-business. It's very important to have a clear strategy, because on the long run it makes no sense you have to mixing everything up. Yeah? And I think one of the reasons why I was going to Feketić was that the level of corruption was zero, what is very hard to say in this country. But at the end of the day, their things were working properly, and at the end of the day, we are the only living business zone between Novi Sad and Subotica on the highway. Yeah, it's the only thing you can see, which is really on the highway. And this is the reason, because the economy was so bad that a lot of projects, which are more or less only field, yeah, somewhere, did not fly. And we had the luck, and with a lot of work and also assistance of the state, we succeeded. We believe that also in Feketić, there will we will finish maybe in this year with around 100 working places. This means for such a small municipality, Mali Iđoš, and municipality of Feketić, this means a lot. And I think there should be more such projects, yeah, because then the country would work better. At the end of the day, such success stories will bring foreign investors, but they have to feel safe. And I have to say to you that the big cities are not really attractive. Besides, I think, for example, Zrenjanin is attractive because they are really fighting for investors. Yeah? And we will really clear state to the investors where they have to go. And we will not mention other cities, because we are not politicians. We are trying to find the best solution for the investors, because the investors have no time to lose time, and with this also money. I am sure that Serbia has the right setting, but it's not right marketed, and we have to show the track record. Successful stories like IGB Automotive, like Falke, like Möller Electric, that is convincing investors, not a brochure or a talk. Yeah? And people ask us why Betriebsansiedlung.rs is in German language. Because we are attracting German industry. They would like to speak German. And I don't take care that you don't speak German. Because you are not our client. Our client is this investor, and we serve together with all of you this investor and bring him to Serbia. That has to be the target. Huh? And it's not easy. Harald Baku told you, we were in Hanover, we were in Amsterdam, we were a lot of events. It's a big fight not for Serbia, for the whole region, because we have to bring people in the region. And we think that in the region, Serbia has one of the best possibilities. But I have to tell you also Macedonia is very active. Schubert and Kromberg is now choosing, obviously, Macedonia. And it's not time to be angry. It's time to ask why they choose and where we can get better, that the next would choose again Serbia. It's a competition, and the people has to understand that's the most important thing, that we are fighting for investors and not be proud. Yesterday I heard a comment, investors are coming because Serbs are speaking so well English and have so much education diplomas for whatever. Yeah? Serbia will be successful because of the good factory workers. Yeah, not because of language skills or some diplomas. That's really the message. But I think I made my point clear, and let's go ahead.
Thank you. All three of you have generally, at least a bit, cut the next subject after why Serbia is the problems that one faces here. We know that Serbia is a country that's fighting a lot of troubles, a country that went through isolation, through wars, through a lot of economical crisis. People are reacting to it. They are kind of fond a bit of a corruption. How would you describe the major problems that you're facing here, Mr. Dragicevic?
Well, first of all, let's mention that our opinion is that the only possible solution for this crisis in Serbia are foreign investors. Why foreign investors? I disagree with some conclusions from the last panel, which say which don't support foreign investments. But if we look the market, there are three components necessary for a successful story, and those are technology, market, and money. That third component, money, actually we can find in Serbia. Serbia is dealing with nice programs which support investors with incentives and everything. But there are two other components which are very important, and those are technology and market. So we are not in a position to choose and to try to negotiate with those things. We have to obey the businesses which are coming from Western countries. So the problems which we are dealing with are more concerned with the problems in everyday business. As I said, we built a factory from 8,000 square meters. Right now we are enlarging that factory with 3,000 square meters more. I would say that municipality India, again, is really supportive in that project, because we got the building permission in only 3 months. The whole project of building a building was around 8 months. And in only a month or two, I cannot remember exactly, we got the working permission. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology.
It's a permit to use the building.
Exactly, permit to use the building. So, in a regular business, I would say that first, and let's say the main problem for us and for me as a general manager is the law system. I don't find law in Serbia bad defined, or let's say bad for foreign investors, but we have several examples where the law is not, how would I say, objektivan.
Objective.
We could say the objective, yeah. So it means that a lot of things depend on the personality of a judge and of a process that we are dealing with. So, for example, some things are not well defined in Serbia. There's always an attitude in those processes that it's a foreign investor. They have money, they have good businesses. We should be on the side of poor workers. I will mention that part of the law system, and that those are radni odnosi.
Working affairs. Labor,
Labor law, yeah. I'm not saying that some companies are not misusing that opportunity to manipulate with workforce in Serbia, but for us, as a company who is 100% covered with all the documents and which runs all the necessary administration to obey the law in Serbia, we are put on the same side as those bad investors and bad businesses in Serbia. In our company, all the people are, I'm mixing German and English right now, so I cannot find right expressions, but let's say everything which is under law is obeyed in our company. So the salaries that they are getting their salary each month. They are registered on the amount that they're really getting, which is not very popular in Serbia. They have some more support in the business, which we obey by obeying to the law of state Serbia. But still, we are on the same side as investors who don't do those things, and we face a lot of problems in the things in like law processes. We belong to the law system of municipality Sremska Mitrovica. So the first decisions that are made in Mitrovica, and the possibilities to go further if you're not satisfied with these decisions in Mitrovica are in Belgrade. So I'm setting the first question: why do we need Mitrovica if we are always going to go to Belgrade and to ask for our rights?
So that means you will always be unhappy with the decision of Mitrovica.
I'm not saying that, but I'll tell you a few examples. I don't want to make impression of ourselves like we are we are a company which don't like this environment. But let's see one example. For instance, garbage company, milk company in India, which is state company, didn't come to our factory for at least 1 year because they didn't get a single piece of garbage out of our factory, because we have a contract with Beočinska Fabrika Cementa for taking our industrial waste. They're doing a nice ecological project in their plant, which we find also interesting because we reduced our costs for, let's say, 3,000–4,000 euros per month, which we had before doing that. In the court of Mitrovica, it's decided after they complained about the system, they find their right in a monopoly in India. They say, we want to charge you for the services that we didn't do, actually, because you're having waste and we are not interested in what you're doing with your waste. We have the only right to take the waste. So we lost the first process in Mitrovica, and right now we are on Apelacioni Sud in Belgrade because of that thing. So it's a really bad message for a foreign investor. I would say for any investor, not foreign, also for a domestic investor. On one side, here in Belgrade, we got those incentives from Finance Ministerium and SIEPA. They actually valued our business plan according to some ecological things that we are going to do through our investment, and we got the money and incentives for those things. And right now in praxis, we are not able to run those activities, only because of the monopoly of one company in India, and we are sure that they don't have a monopoly in that.
I have one question here. You're originally German company,
Yes.
German investment. Do you have the possibility to ask for help at the German embassy, who can maybe then discuss the matter on a higher level of the state?
Well, my opinion is that, of course, we have, but still, as a company who is working 24 hours a day, and as a general manager who is dealing with new building plant, hiring new people, implementing new technologies, and I have to waste my time to negotiate with some institutions in Serbia because of those things, which are in generally very small things for, let's say, German embassy, ministerium, or something like that. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. Right now, why I came to this panel is because 2 months ago I decided to run campaign in our company which will try to fight all the bad things that we find here in Serbia. I started with a law system as a first issue. We have a lot of other examples, unfortunately, because we are employing 1,000 people and we are dealing with a huge business. But there are also few issues that we can also discuss and where we really need help and understanding from Serbia and all the institutions that could help us.
Thank you for the time being. Mr. Grundmann, as a German, originally German, coming from the country it's underestimate to say it's rather organized in the legal and economical system. How did you find the process of establishing Falki here in Serbia? How would you describe it? How would you describe the difficulties?
Yes. Maybe we can start with the main difficulties for setting up a new business here in Serbia, especially if you talk about new production plant. I would say on number one for me is definitely the tax system according to VAT return, especially if you deal with big constructions, big invoices. There is a lot of money laying in the municipality, in the tax authorities, and you are waiting and you are fighting every day that they will return this money. And sometimes you just sit there and ask yourself, how can it be that there's a clear written law and you are acting to this law and there's someone sitting in front of you and tells you, no, you are wrong. So this is for me definitely one of the biggest things if you construct a company when we talk about an investment value of 10 million euros, there's a lot of, let me say, VAT all the time running between tax authorities and company. On the second point, I would say problematic is the construction market in Serbia, because there's a lot of, let me say, secret deals between companies, and when you come first time to this market and to this country, you don't see it straight. So you feel step by step that something is going on, and you have to put a lot of effort in to find out where's the real values of the work and what's the real costs. But if you take time for this, and if you check not one time, not two times, not three times, and taking offers from everywhere, also from countries around, you will find out what is the real value, and you can adjust your tenders to this. On the third place, I would say, especially in the startup phase, a lot of companies do not set up a completely new factory. They shift from different production locations the equipment to Serbia and partly bring new things in. There's a problem according to the labor law and to this safety and risk environment at work, that also there is clear rules where you can prepare your production for this, but you're always depending on the person who is coming in control afterwards. And often this is not understandable what is the reasons why they don't want to give permission for these things. In general, I would say this is the main points, because also the import of the goods is often not so easy. We heard yesterday about the problem with the coffee machine. We had exactly the same problem. We ordered a coffee machine in Germany and needed 2 months until we get it free from customs. And we paid afterwards more to the Serbian agencies for the permission than we paid for the coffee machine. This is things which make setting up a project as a new investor not comfortable or convenient to this Serbian, let me say, rules, a little bit difficult. But with the experience, you can handle all these things. So it is not a point to say Serbia is not interesting. It is interesting, and you have to handle all these problems, and then you can be satisfied. Another thing for me is definitely the time which you need, because by setting up a project like this, time is money. Every month you lose cost the company a lot of money. So if you have a municipality which supports you and which helps you to get all necessary permissions to start the business, it is fine. If you come to the wrong municipality and they lay stones on your way, you waste a lot of time by waiting. And this is one of the, I think top issues by choosing the location in Serbia. So there's different things according to labor, according to logistics and location, but for sure also the local government, the municipality is one of the key points to be successful. In general, I can say I think there's a lot of topics where Serbia has to work on, but the things are not so big that I would say it is a real problem. Everything is handleable, but you need the right support from the right people, from the right government, from the right support in the country. This is on the financial way, this is on the technical way, and also on the HR way. And then you can be successful and have a great time and a great business here in Serbia.
Well, thank you. Mr. Samonik, how would you describe your ways through the Serbian system, customs, that I know that you partly like, since you live here for such a long time?
I would like to a little bit to comment what Sebastian Grundmann said. It was very interesting. I had a boarding house in Novi Sad. I don't have it anymore. It's closed because of a lot of inspections and different problems, financial problems. And I'm very proud of the not successful project of our group, because I have the American principle that we learn from our not success stories. But in this boarding house, we bought kitchens, yeah, special kitchens. They are very quiet. That the refrigerator is very quiet. This was maybe 7-8 years ago. I don't know exactly. And then they came from Austria, I don't know where. And then I signed off these kitchens, yeah, with my signature on the plastic, yeah. And I got that back, not opened, 100% not opened 2 months later with a big bill, yeah. And that was the whole work what was done, yeah. Today I would make immediately so-called krivična prijava, yeah, accusing, immediately call the police, because I would not accept this anymore. In these times I was learning, yeah, because in principle this is fraud. I don't understand this, because if we import something for our use in the company, which would not be sold, it should be very simple. And it's only a change in mind, nothing else, yeah? To make things very simple. If we sell coffee machines to the market and we have consumers which should have protection, it's clear there should be a complicated procedure that we are sure this machinery is good enough. Yeah? But if it's good enough for members of the European community, of this enormous market, it should be good enough also for Serbia. But let's come back. I won't bash things, but I can say Ivan Simic is new general director of tax authority, and he changed the Article 10 in the VAT law, and between the building construction company and the investor, you have no VAT anymore. It's a reverse charge system. A small change helps a lot. It's not every VAT which is solved, but most of the construction is the most expensive part. And you see, small changes can change everything. And I say to you, if you see problems, I like your initiative, Nebojša, we have to shout and say what we don't like. Because if we don't say anything, then nothing will change. Yeah? And that's the clearest point. A lot of things can change very fast. There is a will to change things, but we have to force the institutions to do this. And I don't fear any. Today I was bashing the National Bank. Yeah? I was saying that foreign currency law is a catastrophe. Yeah? And it's like this, and it has to change, because partly it makes no sense. But where it makes sense, we have to be strict. We discussed before the wastewater treatment of Falke plant in Leskovac. They care about the water in Serbia. That's important. Yeah? Be strict with such things. Be strict how the future wastewater treatment would be. That's important for Serbia. But not that some, how they call this reference, yeah, are checking some coffee machine. Be serious, and that's what we have to ask as investors. And now we have to be loud, not anymore accepting stupid things. And I think that some people in the institutions are hearing us. And if we are loud enough, a lot of changes will happen. And without changes, Serbia has no perspective. Very simple.
Thank you very much. Listening to you, three of you came here, accepted the challenge, and remained to fight with the system. I know also some others that came, saw it, and ran away. It was simply too complicated for them and too expensive, too times wasting, because they had better markets and better investment opportunities, which is a big mishap for Serbia. These were huge investments that were in a question. Unfortunately, at that time also Yugoslav, the state community of Serbia and Montenegro and the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia didn't find the right approach to these investors, probably thinking since they're coming, they will continue coming. Well, they didn't, unfortunately. How did you find the help of the state in finding these companies of yours and in your efforts? For example, SIEPA and similar institutions. Session.
Only one sentence on Falke and IGB Bauerhin would not be in Serbia without SIEPA. Only without this money, forget this. They would not be here. And I think it's. I would like to turn this to Sebastian Grundmann. He can explain it better than I.
So in general, I have to say we made a big market research according to the relocation of this factory, and a support like here in Serbia. If we talk about the ministry and about the ministry agency SJEPA, we never find somewhere else, and that was for us a good sign. That was for us a sign of trust and of support. There was the big issue with the financial support, which was for sure one of the reasons to choose this country. And this will be also in the future one of the main reasons to attract new investments. But also the work the people did there by supporting us, by solving problems, by helping from the highest positions was for us a very great experience and helped us to realize this project successfully here in Serbia. Without all this support and help, it would be much more difficult, and there would be much more investors, let me say, refusing their effort to go to Serbia. Up to now, I just can say this has to continue, the financial support and also the, let me say, people support by helping the investors to find the way through this labyrinth in Serbia with all these institutions, rules and bureaucracy. And if this improves and goes on like it is now, then there's a good chance to catch some new investors.
Thank you. Mr. Dragicevic, you would like to comment?
Yeah, I
And
would like
also-
to give a short comment because I disagree with this opinion that we wouldn't come to Serbia if we didn't get incentives. Of course that we would come to Serbia, and there are a lot of companies who can invest by themselves. But the thing is that those incentives, first of all, they're not free of charge. By our calculation, in the period of 15 months, we are paying back those incentives through the taxes that we are paying to this company, to this country, sorry. And the second most important thing by those incentives is, it is true that we wouldn't be able to develop ourselves in Serbia without those incentives. We would stay on a number of 300 people maybe, but those incentives, and we would stay in a building that we rented, and we would probably still renting it, but those incentives gave us wings, let's say, to fly higher and to develop our business in Serbia. And that's the win-win combination. The country gets 1,000 people employed in a company gets bigger business. We are all more connected to each other because no investment, at least in automotive industry, is made in less for the period less than 20 years. So I think that those incentives are very important, but not all, again, the most important thing why we came to Serbia. Thank you.
From my point of view, and from my experience, it seems to be much easier for a foreign investor to invest in industry in Serbia, in industrial building, industrial process, than to invest in a real estate development and a real estate business as a business office and business building or a hotel, for example. Also developing the real estate as itself as a greenfield investment. I have been mostly in my practice working with the investors that are in this other part of the business, so hotels, business parks, and such things. But it seems that this field is working much better. That because when one listens to you, despite all the objectives and all the obstacles, one has a win-win situation. One has a clear interest to invest here. What is your opinion now looking to the other? How can one improve the other part of the picture where this is now combining this panel with the other panels a bit, with the development of the hotels and real estate? What do you think, how can one improve the situation in the other field so that the whole picture would be nicer for the foreign investors.
I would like to point something in this direction out. For me, not get it wrong, I love Belgrade, but I'm sure that no development will happen in Belgrade because the infrastructural fees are too high. I will tell you on the basis of logistics. We did not talk at Rebek too much about the logistics, but I can tell you, within 1 year, 18 months, you will have 250,000 square meters of logistic in Šimanovci, Novi Banovci, Stara Pazova, and so on and so on. But we will have only a few projects in Belgrade because of a special reason. Take in account, if you take the infrastructural fees with some interest on this, yeah, they are so high in Belgrade that you can calculate that the cost of a building over 10 years, yeah, lifetime calculated, are 2 euros per month. And if you take in account that you get less than 5 euros rent, then it makes no sense. Mr. Gilles was talking about we should bring industry to Belgrade. How industry can come to Belgrade if it's so more expensive? And I go outside. I'm director of a plot in front of the city where Volvo is. IMEX Group, yeah, with their 48 hectares. There we pay 10 euros infrastructure fees. And in Belgrade, we would pay 200 euros infrastructure fees. If you would like to attract this here, then you have to change the law. I am sure that along the highways, things will develop. Yeah? No, logical for projects like hotel, you have to be in the city. You calculate these fees and the ground costs. But at the end of the day, we are very stiff with money. Everything what we spend, we have to earn. The interest rates are high, and that's why these cheap logistic projects, these cheap industrial projects can fly, but very expensive projects have big problems. I hope I got one part of this question you had. Yeah? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's everything mathematics, and I don't understand people here that they don't know what is mathematics. You have calculation. If you have so much costs for a building, so high rent, then you have a yield. Yeah? What is not clear? I love this town, but I'm not prepared in this town to overpay something because someone thinks it's so valuable. I pay so much, I get on the market as rent, and that's in a moment not a really high figure. It will change. We believe in this market. I will tell you something. We're planning to buy a building in the city center. We will pay 1,500 euros, renovate it for 500 euros, and my partner says in 10 to 15 years in this location, this building has a value of 5,000 euros. But in Serbia, people are thinking now we would get to get this 5,000 euros. You don't get it. Yeah? You get it in 10 to 15 years, but now it's the question, who has the power to wait 10 to 15 years? We have the power. We think in decades, not only in months or minutes, yeah? And that's the big difference. And people have also to think a little bit more on longer periods. Nebojša, IGB Bauerhin was not coming for some months here to produce. They will stay here. Yeah? Falke was not coming for some months or years. They will stay here. They produce on the long term. And this is the basis of calculation. We have to have stable circumstances to be successful.
I have realized right now what the time is, and the time is expiring. So maybe we should give the opportunity to our audience also to pose some questions if they would have some.
The first one. Are the internal company's rules are the same here like in Germany? Like for example, like labor rules for each company from Germany.
Shall we answer one question at a time, or yes. Okay, Mr. Grundmann, would you like to overtake that one, or?
What to say? It's different. We're in a different country. We have a different culture. We have different laws, and everyone who's going to a foreign country to set up a production needs to adjust to the local laws. If they are good or bad, that's not the question in this case. You have to adjust yourself to the laws, and you can just hope if you find, let me say, laws which are not so positive for your business, that you can find people who fight for changes in these laws. And I think Mr. Zamonik is one of the person here in Belgrade who's doing this for the foreign industry coming to Serbia.
The second one, how do you lobby for your interest?
Who would like to take this one?
Maybe it's a good question. What is lobbying for our interest? At the end of the day, we are business people. We have employees. We had in the past 50 employees. We have now 36 or something like this. We need revenues to pay these people to grow. We made very good profits until for the first years from 2003 to 2007-8. Now we have humble profits. Yeah. At the end of the day, we try now to convince people in Germany that this region is interesting, but not in this way. You have to work with us. You have to work with us. It's not the message. The message is we are the best. You can work with us. If we are not the best, or someone gives a more convenient offer, or whatever, we have to accept this. And more or less, it's now the message is to bring people here. I tell you something. When you bring a German person first time to Belgrade, yeah, he will change the mind of his mindset, and then we can talk further. Yeah, first to be here, then to go. If Nebalsha invites us, I'm sure he does this show the factory he has and the other factories, and then he believes. He's thinking then about this. What can be done? And often, I can tell you, in my boarding house, maybe I come now to jail, I had often guests which were not paying. Yeah, they had also no bills. I made big criminal offense. Maybe I go now to jail. I brought hundreds and hundreds of people on my costs to Serbia to see this country. And maybe I have to go for this in jail. I go to jail. But at the end of the day, we have to bring the people here. That's our mission. Yeah, from all of us here. And then things change, because what is not fair? People abroad have the feeling, had the wrong, imagination of Serbia. They have wrong picture. And when they are coming here, I like most when they say the Serbs are like we are. Yeah? And that's really, my heart is bleeding. And but then we can also talk about business. We have to be very careful. We have with German industry very strict procedures. They don't understand. We are too much creative. Some creativity is not bad. Procedures. Yeah, things have to run. And Sebastian Gundmann mentioned this. If you lose with a factory 1 month, you open it later. You cannot imagine which costs are rising. You read maybe that Fiat did not work because they don't get spare parts from Italy. It cannot happen. You can imagine he stops to produce, and somewhere in Germany seats could not be finished, and then some cars could not be finished. You cannot imagine which contracts there are. They have to pay enormous fines. Yeah, it's not funny business. It's very serious business. And what I hate so much, he has maybe in India some people, not competition, some other small private companies which are not doing anything regarding the working law, not employing people formally. Yeah, but he has no problems. He has to go to the court. But this person, which is employing people on black, yeah, not having any papers, don't have any problem. That is a very big problem here, and this has to change. With asking fair conditions for us. If we employ people regularly, others has to do this. Only this could be. We have to have fair conditions, the same conditions, and not because someone is a relative to someone that he could do anything. That's the only chance. We have to change this mindset. It's not a good mindset. It's killing this country. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I have been informed that our time is running too short, unfortunately. Do we have a time for one more question or not really? One more question, please.
Potrudit ću se da budem kratak. Prvo, ovo što je gospodin rekao da ima problema sa komunalnim strukturama u opštini Inđiji, pa ste došli do sudskog spora. Mogu vam samo jedno reći, svako komunalno preduzeće, konkretno Gradska čistoća, zakonski, do vaše ograde njegova nadležnost i to mora da platite. Ono što je iza vaše ograde unutra, to je vaše i mislim da tu nema nikakvih problema, pošto imamo sličnu situaciju u Beogradu i znam kako stvari stoje ovdje. To je prva stvar. Druga stvar, rekli ste Zakon o radu. Oprostit ćete gospodo, mi moramo da štitimo našu radnu snagu ovde, odnosno građane Republike Srbije. Posle ovoga što ste vi izložili, ja sam u jednoj velikoj dilemi, slušajući prethodnu sekciju, gde je gospodin Baku rekao da je Srbija zadnja u onim bananama državama na tom nekom privrednom reku.
Prema statistici OECD-a.
Pa pročitamo šta drugi piše.
Dobro, okej. Znate šta, ima jedna stara poslovica. I na tarabi možda piše sladoled, ali mi ga ne ližemo. I još jedna stvar, što se tiče fiskalne politike. Fiskalna politika je politika države i mislim da tu ne može da se mnogo utiče i ne treba mnogo da se utiče, država mora od nečega da živi. Što se tiče povraćaja PDV-a, koliko sam ja upoznata samim tim, pošto se i moja kompanija bavi takvim poslom da se isključivo bavim izvozom, taj PDV meni redovno stiže kada podnesem sva dokumenta i tu nemamo nikakvih problema. Sad jedno konkretno pitanje. Zašto naši investitori koji dolaze jako malo koriste benefite koje ima država Srbija sa Ruskom federacijom? Mislim da je to jako pogrešno što te benefite ne koristimo, s obzirom da smo mi oslobođeni carina tamo. Sad, do sada, s obzirom da imam predstavništvo u Moskvi, to funkcioniše jako dobro, mislim da su određene firme iz Hrvatske to jako dobro shvatile i ovde počele da koriste, pogotovo kad je prehrambena industrija u pitanju. I smatram da mi možemo ovde stvarno da stvorimo jako dobre uslove, jer rusko tržište je jedno neograničeno veliko tržište, a opet Srbija tamo ima određene benefite i malo drugačije gledaju na nas.
Možemo da idemo na kafu da pričamo malo o tome.
Možemo, ali još jedna stvar, odmah samo još jedno pitanje, rečeno je vezano industrija za Beograd. Pa pazite, Beograd je političko-administrativni centar koji može da se bavi kongresnim turizmom, naukom, a ne industrijom. I smatram da upravo razvoj industrije treba da bude na ovim prostorima oko Beograda. I još jedna stvar, lokalne samouprave su krive za pojedine probleme koje imaju naši investitori, ali sa novim zakonom koji je pripremljen za lokalnu samoupravu mislim da će to da bude iskorenjeno. I zadnja stvar, pre 2 meseca Republika Srbija, odnosno država Srbija je potpisala sa Evropskom unijom jedan dokument o bezuslovnom priznavanju svih homologacija robe i stvari iz Evropske unije.
Stolovima koje smo sad izvozili za Austriju, to je bilo pre par dana praktično, to moguće sve i svašta se potpiše, samo carina malo drugačije funkcioniše.
So, thank you very much. Concluding this panel, one should say that the Serbia is worthy of investments. One can find its way only. There are also a lot of obstacles, so that means that altogether, foreign investors and us local that are interested in the investment and development of the country have to work together on changing of the mind, changing of the attitude, and also pressing the legislative structures to imply or make the better laws. Thank you very much for attending the session.